What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Seth the Lawn Surgeon, and you already know what time it is. Tipsy talk. What's going on, people? This week I'm gonna be making a video about my 36-inch Toro T-bar floating deck, alongside my newfound jungle wheels. Somebody coincidentally asked me. I was thinking about making this video this week, and somebody coincidentally asked me about my Toro T-bar, and I was like, it's meant to be. I gotta make a video about it because this week something happened. When I got my jungle wheels, I didn't really know how I was going to use them in my setup, and I'm going to get into that into more detail, but I think those jungle wheels are going to fit in just fine. It has helped me take my Toro T-bar to the next level. I already love my Toro T-bar, and that's why I'm gonna go back with this long story. So if you want to know about my Toro T-bar, you might as well fast forward to the end of this video, because I'm gonna tell you a whole long story about all of the mulching mowers that I ever had, even about the first mower I ever had, and when I owned this house. And when I get to the end, you will understand why I went through this. You know, to let you know that not everybody knows everything about mowers. And this is my progression of how I got to owning a Toro T-bar 36-inch floating deck. So, with that being said, let's get into story time. Yes, sir. Alright, so rewind back to 2007 when I bought my house. My dad's friend gave me a Murray 20-inch mower. It was side discharge. It wasn't a mulching mower, which I will come to love mulching mowers, but it wasn't a mulching mower. I didn't even know what a mulching mower was at the time. I used to use that to cut my yard. I didn't even have a trimmer. As y'all heard the story many times, how I went to cut my uncle's yard, and he gave me his mower because he said, well, I was going to be cutting his grass, so he didn't need his mower anymore. He gave me his mower, which was another side discharge mower, right? So from that point, my Murray that I had, I think the mower that my uncle gave me was a Yard Man. My Murray, it was so rusty and old, the wheel literally broke off. It rusted to the point where it broke off. So I needed a new deck. And so I went on Craigslist and I found somebody selling a deck, which was an awesome deck, and I ended up transferring that Murray motor to that new deck, which I learned two things in that process. One, that was my first time ever transferring a mower, and then the handle, the safety clutch, it didn't fit for that mower for some reason. I can't remember why. So I ended up having to put a safety switch, a flip switch on it to cut the mower off, which I think I'm gonna be doing in a few weeks or so. So check that out. So I had to put a safety switch on it. Anyway, I had that mower, and I ended up using that mower as my business mower because I started my business, and it was only a 4 horsepower motor, right? So once I started cutting people's lawns that was nice and manicured, I could see that I'm gonna need a stronger mower. And so that's when I started researching, and I bought this Bilt mower, which was like, I take that back, I think the mower I had was like a 3 horsepower motor. When I got that Bilt mower, it was a 4 horsepower motor, and it was great until I needed more power. You know, like, guys, I need more power because it wasn't cutting this thick grass that I needed. So I went online and I found another Bilt mower, which was 6.75, and that mower was awesome, but I didn't like the deck because the mower on the 4 horsepower motor, it was striped like crazy. So I said, if I could have this motor on this deck, it would be awesome. So as soon as I bought that mower with the 6.75 motor, I swapped them, and then I resold it, and I just made my money back. Anywho, had the 6.75 for like a year or so. Outgrew that. Needed more. I needed even more power, people. Even more power. So I started looking for bigger mowers, and I said maybe I need to like actually buy more. That's when I found the Timemaster. Oh, I missed the Timemaster. Got the Timemaster. Ran that bad boy into the ground. But at the time when I got my walk behind, it was running fine. But I was working that Timemaster to death. But the whole reason I got my Timemaster, which I want to make another video on this. I forgot why I want to make a video. I had an idea for a tipsy talk on this, but this particular season, it rained like crazy. And it was to the point where like every week or every day I was cutting wet grass. And the Timemaster, it would do perfectly fine if it was nice dry conditions. Didn't matter how tall the grass was, I could get it done. But it's just that this wet grass, it didn't have enough power to cut this wet grass. And so I was like, man, I need even more power. So with that being said, I went and I started researching even more. I wanted a walk behind, but I didn't like the pistol grips, and so I came across the T-bar, which was similar to the personal pace system on the Toro Timemaster. So I researched that and loved it. Then I found out that I didn't want a stationary deck. I don't understand why people would get a stationary deck. I had to have a floating deck which could raise and lower, which cost a little bit more money, but for me it was worth it. So that's what I did. I got a Toro T-bar 36-inch floating deck. I think the particular question was, how is the Toro T-bar and getting into gates? And it's freaking awesome. Like, I think the person, they might, they asked me the question, they might want to get a bigger one. I would definitely suggest getting a 36-inch. The way I have my setup, and like I said, I can go into more detail if y'all want me to about why I have my setup, but I have a big 52-inch mower. That's for open spaces, you know. I can, you know, it's a 0 turn. But then I have the 36-inch where I can get into small gates. And then I kind of have my setup now. I don't really have a push mower. I plan to make a push mower. But if a yard is 20, if a gate's 21 inches, and I can't help you. You know what I mean? Your gate, if your backyard had gate, in order for me to cut your backyard, it has to be 36 inches or more. And I can get my walk behind back there and take care of it. But if it's 21 inches, I can't help you. But that's how I got my setup set up. And so, let me get into the jungle wheels. Y'all might have saw the video of me earlier this year. I got my jungle wheels, I unboxed them. I'm gonna be 100% honest. When I got my jungle wheels from Jungle Gym, shout out to Jungle Gym, I didn't really know how I was gonna use it in my everyday setup until the other day where I had a situation where they came in clutch. Background, I'm not really good on jungle wheels, you know. I'm not jungle wheels. I'm not really good on sulkies in general. I'm heavy, I'm a big guy, so it's not really we're not really compatible. But and then the second thing initially I didn't like about the jungle wheels is the fact that, because now that the mower has to not only pull itself, the weight of itself, it has to pull me. When you go to turn it, it starts to dig, like it'll start to dig that right wheel, or whichever way you're turning, will start to dig into the ground. And the whole purpose that I have my walk behind, I have a mulching kit on it, which I paid an extra $700 I think for it, or $1,700, I can't remember. But I paid the extra money for that because I wanted a mower that can be used for nice manicure lawns. If you got nice manicure lawn, I could cut it and I could leave nice stripes. That's the whole purpose of me getting that mower. But if I get on that sulky and I try to turn on the nice manicure line, I'm gonna leave all kind of ruts because I'm heavy myself. And this mower, without it having to pull me, it will cut circles around yards. It will cut stripes and whatever I want to do, it will cut it. So like I said, I didn't really know how I was going to use the jungle wheels until the other day, where I had a yard, right? Not only was the yard pretty tall, it had tall grass. It was a weedy grass. I won't say grass. It was all weeds. But not only was it all weeds, it had a whole bunch of leaves. Like, this yard had a couple of big trees in the yard, and it had all the leaves from the winter time in it, right? And so I initially got on my Gravely, and my plan was to just go over it a few times, because it was just cutting the front yard, right? And the front yard was a decent size, right? It was big. And so I won't go walk it with my walk behind, right? So my plan was to go over it a few times, 2, maybe 3 times, with my Gravely zero turn, and hope that I cut up these leaves, which my Gravely zero turn side discharge. So I went over it one time, then I got off the mower and I started trimming. At that point, the owner came out and he was like, does your mower have a mulching kit? And he wasn't saying it in no disrespectful way. He was just looking at the yard. He thinking that I went over it that one time and I won't go over it again. I was gonna leave the yard looking crazy, which, if you know me, I'm a perfectionist. I like to leave the yard looking pristine. So with that being said, I told him, I said, no, I said my smaller mower has a mulching kit, but I'm gonna go over this yard again. So he went back in the house. Oh, okay, sorry. Went back in the house, and I got back, I finished trimming, I got back on the zero turn, and I started going over it again. As I'm going over it again, something clicks in my brain. Bro, you got some jungle wheels on your trailer. Not only do you got your walk behind with the mulching kit on it, you got your jungle wheels. And see, I had always viewed my walk behind as a manicuring machine, like a machine that if it either it was a nice treated yard that I need to cut at a high level and mulch everything up nice and clean, or B, it was a backyard that I needed to get in a small gate and cut the yard. Now I'm about to take this Toro T-bar to the third level, which is I got a big area with a lot of debris and I need to mulch it up. The light bulb started going off, so I went over it with the Gravely, got off, pulled the T-bar out, pulled the jungle wheels out, hooked it up, and went over that yard. And bro, when I tell you that thing was clean, it was clean. So yeah, those jungle wheels helped me take my T-bar to the next level. So because if y'all saw my setup video, y'all will see that I said that that's my everyday mowing setup, right? And the reason that is I have another setup which I call my bagging setup. Say I have a day where I'm gonna be doing a combination, because I really can only fit 2 mowers on my trailer. Either I'm gonna fit my walk behind and my Gravely. I'm gonna fit my T-bar and my Gravely zero turn. I'm gonna either fit my T-bar and my Bilt zero turn, which has the bagger on it. I'm either gonna fit my Bilt zero turn with the bagger and my Gravely on it. I only could fit a combination of 2 mowers on it. So if it's a day where I'm gonna be hedging a lot of bushes at somebody's house, or maybe it's a day where I know this particular yard is gonna have a lot of leaves in the yard and I need to bag them up and maybe throw them in the woods, that's when I'll go out with like my mulching setup, or my bagging setup, where I have my Bilt and my Gravely. And then when I get to the yard where it has a whole bunch of debris in it, I'll use my Gravely, bag it up, throw the debris in the woods, or I'll bag it. And so now with the jungle wheels, me being able to mulch big areas, I can go out with my T-bar and the jungle wheels, which if I have to hedge some bushes or something like that, and I have to cut the yard, now I can hop on the T-bar with the jungle wheels and mulch everything up nice and clean, nice and smooth. So long story short, T-bar's awesome, and the jungle wheels just took it to another level. So man, I love that T-bar. Today was a rainy day. I didn't go out and do anything. I had, let me look at my schedule, 1, 2, 3, 4 yards to cut today. Didn't do it. I'm gonna go out tomorrow and I'm gonna cut both of those yards, a combination of all that, and get everything done in one day. Y'all gonna see, I cut in the rain. I literally went out last week and I had a raincoat on and I was cutting. But today it was just too rainy. It was just raining. So I decided to skip it, hopefully tomorrow, because it's not even, the weather is not even saying that it's supposed to rain, but it's raining. And then you look at the weather on TV and it's like, oh yeah, it's raining today. Well, you should have said that yesterday, you know. Anywho, what you gonna do with me, a neurologist? Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. Yes, sir.